Hi everybody, back for our last card here for the March card class, and this is going to be our technique card. So we're going to actually use some some good tools this time with this technique. So what we're using is the decorative masks, and this is the loveliest layer one. And oh, I didn't bring the other ones, but it has this nice background. And they're basically stencils, so a nice background stencil that we'll use today. And it also has 4 different layers to make this flower. And I did a video previously with this one, which is really cool. And the Stamparatus makes it really easy to do this. So we're going to grab all our pieces here and get started. So, and there's several ways you can use these masks. You can use the blending brushes or sponges or sponge daubers, and that's what I did on this card with this background. And you can do different colors, and that's really fun. But I thought it would be fun to do some heat embossing. The other thing you can do is the embossing paste, which is really cool, especially the shimmery one. There's a shimmery embossing paste, but that one's a little bit messy, so I did make a sample of that. I can't remember where I put it, but I'll have to post my sample. But here's the one we're going to do today is the heat embossing. So I've got my kit here and all my pieces. So I'm going to do this soft seafoam, I think is our color here. Do that background. And it's easy to do with the Stamparatus because you can hold it in place a lot better. The other thing you can do is, if you're using stencils, is put painter's tape or washi tape around the edges so that you can get it to stay in place. Because as you're inking or blending or whatever you're doing, it's gonna move around pretty easily. So this is a good way to keep it in place. So I'm going to get this right up to the edge, and I'm just dabbing on Versamark ink because that's what we're going to use to emboss with. I probably should have not put it right in the corner, but we'll see how this turns out. Let's see. We've got our ink on, then I'm going to move the Stamparatus out of the way and grab that out. And then we'll do some embossing here. So let's put that in the embossing tray. Really can't see anything right now because the Versamark ink is clear. Hopefully I got enough of it on there. Oh yeah, there it is. So get some in the corners there. And the nice thing about this tray is you can just pour it right back in the jar when you're finished. So I'm going to get my heat tool out here, and if it takes too long, we'll just move along, but we'll see how this works. And these little ceramic tweezers are really cool to keep your fingers cool. Okay, so now embossing. Zip, zip, zip. That's going to take too long, so we'll move along and pretend that I did it. And you can tell when it's done because it'll turn shiny like that, and then you know that the embossing's done. So I'll set that aside and finish that up later. And then one other little tip for the sentiment here is I made a little template here so that I can put my little sentiment, my little banner right in there, and then I can use the Stamparatus yet again on this project. So I guess I didn't get a stamp out. We used the Irresistible Blooms, and this designer series paper is also the Hello Irresistible paper that goes with the online exclusives. And I used Hooray Your Day on it, so that's good for birthdays or some sort of congratulations, maybe graduation, something like that. Whoops, I don't need a block because I'm using the Stamparatus. So I just put the rubber side down right in the right spot there and pick it up. And what I would do if I had regular ink and not clear ink is I would first take this out and stamp it in my gap here to make sure it was even. Hopefully it's even because I won't be able to see it with the Versamark ink because it's a clear ink. So Versamark. And the nice thing about using the Stamparatus is that you can give it a couple doses if you're keeping it in the same spot. I might hit it again just to make sure I have enough ink on that sentiment. And if it's not straight, I'll just have to use the other side. All right, back to my embossing powder. We'll just grab some of the stuff I already had out there. That actually looks pretty good, so we'll go ahead and emboss that. Grab my tweezers. Maybe this sentiment won't take as long as the other one did, so I kind of tilt it back and forth so I can see if it's getting there. It takes a little bit for my heat gun to warm up to the right temperature, but it looks like it's starting to emboss there. Yeah, okay, it looks pretty shiny now. Okay, that went faster. All right, so I've got my sentiment, and if you have a kit, then since mine's not finished, I'm not going to finish that card, but what you'll do is lay down your background onto the card, then the matte, then the little piece of designer series paper, and then this sentiment will go up with dimensionals. So that'll finish up your cards. So I thought this was fun because we got to use not only the decorative masks, but we also got to do heat embossing and use the Stamparatus to line up everything. So it was a fun way to explore some different techniques. So hope you'll explore the decorative masks because I always forget about them. There's one in the mini catalog and there's one set also in the annual catalog. And those may or may not retire at the end of this year, being the end of April. And the nice thing about the decorative masks also is you can get quite a stack of them and they don't take up a lot of space. So I've been saving all my old ones because you never know when you can use something for a project. I know there used to be one that was bricks, which made a nice brick background. So just something to remember. It's not all about the stamps. Sometimes we have some other tools that are fun to play with as well. Okay, so I'll see some of you tomorrow in class or Friday for our team meeting, and hope everybody has a wonderful first day of spring and get out maybe and enjoy that sunshine. Happy crafting!